Hey, hi, hello. I'm Scarce. I like to just ramble. Find me on TikTok. Grab your bonnets, it's about to get philosophical, not messy. I don't know why people associate feelings with certain spaces or things. I've lived a very I gotta get on my ones. I can't get too attached to shit because I'll lose it quickly type of lifestyle. So I'm probably talking from a space of bias and a place of like, you know, guarding. However, I still believe that even if you have feelings attached to a place, you should have feelings attached to that part of your life instead. I feel like that part of your life is more important than the place it happened in. Because no matter what place that part of your life happened in, that part of your life still happened. That's why I personally don't associate any type of like emotions towards it. But then I heard a philosophical statement from one of my dance friends, and it kind of like reshaped the way I thought about things. So cool. Flashback. It was 2023 July. We had finished for sixth form, and we had just started A levels, innit? And I was just in Westfield Park. Me and my boy, we were eating an edible gummy meat. We had each taken one, and we were waiting for them to kick in. Now we were just sitting down on the benches, looking up at the sky, and it's been like what I think 20 minutes. So we were just yapping about whatever, and then I had gotten all deep, and I'm pretty sure it was the bud hitting me, but I had gotten all deep, and I said, "Wow, in a couple months, that's it. We're in uni. Life's gonna be so different. Life's gonna be so different." He said, "Yeah, what? You feel like you're gonna be homesick? Like, what?" I said, "No, not really. I don't really get homesick. I don't really feel like I should have any attachment to places that, you know, I don't really care about. Do you get?" And he was like, "Why don't you care?" But the reason I don't care is because I've moved around so much. I've had like, bro, I've lived in like 8 different places. That's just scratch that. I've lived in like 15, bro. Over the course of my life, I've lived in so many different places. I've had my address down in so many different areas, bro. I've forgotten some addresses. I know the memorable ones or the places I've stuck around for a long time. But the ones before that, yo, scratched out of my brain. I don't know, bro. But because I've moved around so much, I've never had any type of like attachment to anywhere. Because if I did and then we moved, all of a sudden I'm sad now. So it kind of became like a guard. And he said he gets it, but at the same time, he told me, when are you ever going to find your place in the world if you can't attach yourself to a place in the world? And I said, wow, that's pretty fucking deep. That is pretty philosophical. For a guy that's barely scraping any type of brains out of the bottom of that foolish barrel you call a head. Wow, that was pretty deep. And it's hit me ever since. Because I didn't know what to think of it. Because I was there thinking, now I'll just travel. I'll make my place in the world in some other location. I'll just travel, I'll move around. But then I thought of it. If I now just keep traveling and I stop off in one country, let's say, for example, I want to go to Japan, not to live there. But imagine if I've now gone to Japan and I've said, oh, I really like this place. I would like to make this my place. But then I'm still thinking, actually, no, I still have to visit other countries. How many countries do I have to go to now before I feel comfortable calling one my permanent home, or like somewhere I can see myself living some semblance of a life? And it's been sitting with me ever since, and I've really started to deep it, because even in the coming years after that, 2024 I got my first apartment. 2024 I got my first apartment, and I said, wow. But I still didn't feel any attachment to that place, but I enjoyed the memories I had in it. I didn't feel any attachment to the building, but I enjoyed the memories I had in it. I couldn't see myself living there a long time. Don't get twisted. Don't even think about it. But then there was also my common room. I couldn't see myself living there a long time. Of course not. But then it's like, obviously I've not experienced enough of life. I've not lived in enough places yet to understand truly what I want, maybe out of a property. But then, even with all of that, I've constantly been thinking to myself, it's not even about the physical sense of attaching yourself to a place in the world. I feel like it's about the vulnerable sense as well. When will you truly allow yourself to experience the world if you keep guarding yourself from something of the world experiencing you? If you get what I'm saying. If I haven't worded that correctly, what I mean is, if a piece of the world, if a place in the world cannot hold a space in your soul, how do you expect the world to be able to hold a space for you? Because I always think about the law of equivalence exchange. You always have to give something up in order to get what you want. What sacrifice are you willing to make? And the quote's really stuck with me. And it's been even sly annoying me because of how foolish that specific friend is. Because he's really something of a dunce. Like, I could actually wake up in the morning and receive a snap of him with a proper cock and balls just plastered across his forehead, and it wouldn't seem out of character for him. Thank you, camera. That was wonderful. But it wouldn't seem out of character for him. What a life we live, man. That's another thing I've been saying a lot. I always say what a life we live. And I realise whenever I speak to people, I always give them the semblance of, okay, I'm talking about we. I don't know whether this is me tooting my own horn, but I feel like I'm a very communal guy. Because I always say we. Whenever I'm speaking to anybody, I always say we. Like, on my days, we're up. And I don't know whether it's because I've etched the words into my soul, because I've always remembered that the price of community is inconvenience. If I can inconvenience myself for you, you'll be there for me when I need you, because you'll then be able to inconvenience yourself for me. So I don't know whether it's me holding that within myself and that's just patterns of behavior reflecting, but then expanding onto the larger phrase, what a life we live, I've always been using that as like, oh wow, this is really something that's happening in reality right now. This is really something that's happening to me in this present moment right now. Because I've become a lot more existential. I've become a lot more like open with my mortality. I apologize for the background noise, roommate. But I've become a lot more unapologetic with with the concept of death. And it's been scaring me, because it's like, with everything that's going around right now, should I be that blasé about it? But then at the same time, I don't feel like I'm that blasé about it. I think being open with the concept of it has allowed me to understand and appreciate everything a lot more. Because as soon as I hit 20, life decided to do backflips on me, bro. Backflips, up, down, left, right. We're doing AB, Game Boy cheat codes, bro. Because all of a sudden, now I have real responsibilities. Now all of a sudden, I'm a big man. Okay, cool. I've been having to change out my wardrobe, fix up the fashion sense. I can't be rolling around as if I'm still 17, bro. Maturity, bro. Frontal lobe developing attacked me quick. The frontal lobe developing attacked me with insane force. It was so crazy to me. Because it was just like I woke up one day and everything just clicked and made sense. Everything that my mum ever said to me, oh my days, I get it now. It just attacked me one day. I was in the middle of my sleep and they opened my door violently. They opened the door to my mind violently and aggressively and just started harassing me. They jumped jutsu'd Kaizen me, bro. They jumped jutsu'd me, bro. I'm there getting attacked like Mahito was from Yuji and Nanami. I'm having to pop my domain expansion, unresolved trauma. But that doesn't even work anymore because they were beating common sense into my head. And I was like, wow. And it's gotten me thinking about so many more things recently. Because even when I hit 21, now I even started to question my place in the universe. Because obviously aliens exist. Everybody's proven correct. The conspiracy theorists are correct. That's a story for a different day. That one messed with me. But now I'm questioning, right, there are actually beings out there. God knows what we don't have out there. God, like, who knows what we have out there? Who knows what we don't know? It's just gotten me working up the old noggin, bro. I don't know. And it doesn't help that, well, it does help, but at the same time, it doesn't help with all of these thoughts that I just get fried, because then I sit like a potato. You know, like one of them russet potatoes that they lay flat. They don't really roll too much. They just lay flat. It gets me like that. And I'm just with my thoughts. I love it though. Don't get it twisted. This is the life that I live, because I always remember the quote, the hobbies that you did throughout your formative years are all you're going to do as an adult. Because think about it. All I did in my formative years was really stay inside unless I wanted to go outside and do bullshit sometimes. Now look what happens. I stay inside unless I have to go outside, and all of a sudden I'm doing bullshit sometimes. That's the life. A day in the life, man. But aside from that, it's just a lot of thoughts. It is just a lot of thoughts. But yeah, man. That was my ramble. How was your Sunday?